What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Well, today isn't Monday, but I was covering the Kovalev Ward fight in Las Vegas. Had a phenomenal time. I still got interviews and uploads from footage and stuff that I captured. Very successful trip. Met a lot of people, networked. Just overall had a great time. The weather was cool. It was kind of cold one of the nights, but other than that, it was real cool. It was a great fight. I think it was a classic fight that I got to witness. And as a result, I wasn't able to do this video on Monday, but thankful for all the fans and the great questions. I'm able to do it now. Things have calmed down, and let's get into it. Monday Mail Day leftovers to answer some of your questions, and I'm going to do a Monday Mail Day for next week just to give back and do my part. Let's get it in, man. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of conversations being had, and that's kind of what you want from a big fight. Now, I put a thumb up next to the questions I'll be answering. First question is from Kaiser Soze. Can you give me your pound for pound list, top 7 in a row, and explain the order? Now, not to sound cliche, I'm just being 100% real. I've said this in past videos, but people may have missed it. I don't do pound for pound lists. Very simple. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Barring like let's say when Floyd Mayweather was fighting, it was obvious he was the #1 pound for pound guy. I mean, resume, who he had beat, he was like pretty much recognized. But beyond that, unless there's like a top distinguishable person, like a character like a Floyd Mayweather, it becomes subjective. People go off of what they like and what they don't like. I mean, a few years ago, people had Nonito Donaire on their top 10 pound for pound list. But some people who don't like Donaire's style, thinks he gets hit too much or something, they may not put him up there. So, you know what I mean? It just really boils down to opinion, and I just usually choose not to go down that. For example, Andre Ward just fought Kovalev to establish the #1 pound for pound person, but guess what? There's somewhat of a controversy, and some people think Kovalev won, some people think Ward won. So who do you put as #1? You know what I mean? Clearly, the people that thought Ward won say, hey, he's the #1 dude in Floyd's absence. Then if you thought Kovalev, even though he lost, even though if you thought he won, you're going to put him at #1. So for those reasons, I don't really do the pound for pound list and rank them in order. Some people's lists are just straight basura, just garbage. And that's another thing. So I don't know. I just don't make the time to do stuff like that. I recognize the great fighters. I try to provide coverage to all fighters and big fights, and other than that, I just keep it pushing. But I don't know. It's just a lot of politics, I want to say. You know what I mean? People put Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez above Ward, but how? You know what I mean? Ward, because his last hurrah, in your opinion, is the Super 6. You know what I'm saying? Your wins don't have an expiration date. Even though Chocolatito, he's moved up, he has almost 50 fights and stuff like that. Who has he beat like a Kovalev? Name his Carl Froch, you know what I'm saying, in his light division. Brian Valoria, a guy who had like probably 3 or 4 losses when Chocolatito fought him, including a stoppage loss. You know what I'm saying? So it's all subjective. So I choose not to go down that road. Next question is from Jocko St. Merits. Ego knows Ward lost. No, I don't. Because if he did truly win, he would have had his shit all over the web yapping about it. I don't know who you are or what you're talking about, but I have been talking about it. You know what I mean? Go to my Instagram. So I don't even know what this is. But, let me put a thumb up. If Ego would get off Ward and Mayweather's dick, he'd be the best in the business. I am. You know what I mean? But that aside, Ward winning where it should have been a draw at best shows we live in a country where everyone gets a ribbon. Yeah, that's not even worth responding to. Similar question, Manuel Vallejo. I know you live in the Bay Area. Yes, I do. But you don't have to kiss ass talking about Ward when he is half white. What does him being half white have to do with anything? I live in the Bay Area too. You don't see me kissing your ass. I never asked for shit from you. Never asked for you to kiss my ass. I never asked for you to watch my videos. Shout out to Vallejo 707. So, you know what I'm saying? Some of you guys leave asinine questions like, okay, what does Ward being half white have to do with anything? I don't care if he was purple. Next question, James the Dolphin. Ego, watching the fight live on pay-per-view Saturday, I initially thought Kovalev won easily, 8 rounds to 4 or 9-3. But after watching the fight without the HBO commentary, I scored it either 6-6, Kovalev winning, 14-13, or 7-5 for Ward. That's a lot of scorecards. It's like 3 different outcomes. But my question is, why does HBO make an effort to persuade the audience or casual fans that the fight went a certain way rather than just being unbiased and calling it straight? I've noticed that even Max Kellerman was disagreeing with Harold's scorecard throughout the fight. Thanks, man. I mean, boxing is a business. You guys heard it time and time again. Bottom line is they have a horse in the race. If there's like a guy like Pacquiao, they will, especially when Mayweather went over to Showtime, but if they wanted Pacquiao to win, then that's their horse. That's who they're betting on. That's who they feel it would be better for their brand, for their business, to have win in that type of fight. So they root for him and they give him, even though Mayweather beat Pacquiao, Max Kellerman is saying that Pacquiao is still this best fighter's generation, even though he lost to Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Because he moved up 3 more divisions, which is stupid, because once you get to a certain point in those low divisions, moving up could be like 2 or 3 pounds. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't work for HBO. I can't tell you with 100% certainty just from my opinion of it. I think it's because they go off of who they want to win. They want Kovalev, and it's very apparent. They wanted Kovalev to win. They thought maybe stylistically, because he's the crusher. I fight for me. I fight, I must break you. You know what I mean? Maybe they feel that sells, because if you look at HBO recently in the last couple of years, their whole marketing has been geared towards the puncher, the fighter with that Triple G type of power or devastating style. It's like they want to, and that's what's wrong with the game. Not even just boxing, but even movies. You notice movies, like scary movies, a lot of times back in the day, it wasn't just a gore fest where it's just all nothing but blood and guts and people getting their esophagus ripped out. And part of, like Alfred Hitchcock, for example, part of what made his shit scary was the fact that you had to use your brain in order to, like, damn, what if birds really did go crazy and start pecking people's eyes out and shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, some of it, the thought of it was part of the scare. But if you watch a lot of horror movies now, it's just like people getting decapitated and their lungs ripped out, like Saw, getting their skin ripped off their back. I want to play a game. You've spent your life watching horror movies. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what they're aimed for. They don't want to make you think. Same thing with music too. They don't want to make you think. Like, listen to old Tupac or really anybody from the 90s, like in terms of hip hop. There were Public Enemy. There was a message. They were actually talking. Ice Cube, one of my favorites. They were talking about social injustices, issues. Like Pac said, the powers in the people in politics we address, always do your best. You know what I'm saying? He was like saying, like, he was like, Brenda got a baby, but she barely got a brain. You know what I mean? He was actually talking. There was some substance to what the fuck he was talking about. You know what I mean? But now, my dope in the bushes, whoop! Dope in the bushes, whoop! Cut it. Bitch on my nut, bitch gonna run the ball. Bitch gonna ride the ball. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's like catchy hook and beat, and you know what I'm saying, to make you like beans, greens, potatoes, ham, lamb. Like, you know, that's all it is. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what HBO is shifting to. But I think it would do their company more justice if they just kept it real and let the fans decide. If Lomachenko's that dude, then let him be that dude. Let him earn it though. But they want to force feed you stuff, and that's the problem I have as a real boxing fan. Prince Nassim Ahmed, he was one of my favorites, and I don't feel like HBO made him my favorite. He was my favorite because I like what he was doing. I like how he moved. I like his swag. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that make me like Prince Nassim, not because they forced me to like him and say, oh, Nassim, Prince Nassim. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they do with some of the fighters. And that's my thoughts. It's like the game's getting like brainless. They just want, if you, especially on HBO, if you fight like Ruslan Provodnikov, despite your skill, you could still make the Gotti list. No matter if you lost 3, 4, 5 times, you know what I'm saying? But let's say Andre Durrell or whoever else takes one loss to James DeGale and they say, oh, he needs to retire. You know what I'm saying? So just a lot of meatheads in the game, and then they want to push what they want to push. Next question is from Dowd Salman. A lot of people think Kovalev won the fight, and some people are even saying it was a robbery. Do you hold any merit to either of those things? Now, it's up to people's opinion. Like, it was a good fight. It was a close fight. It really depends on what you like. I scored it for Ward because I thought Kovalev started to fight a Ward style fight. He got lured into that by Ward. Ward's body work, his body attack slowed Kovalev down heavily. Kovalev abandoned his jab. He wasn't doing it as consistently, and he lost consecutive rounds in that second half. If he had stronger second half rounds, then he would have easily won the fight. But he dramatically, the tide changed, in my opinion. That's just what it was. So the knockdown definitely made it exciting and made it closer. But put it this way. If there was no knockdown, which you have to understand boxing and how to score it. A knockdown create one knockdown like that, like we seen in Kovalev Ward. What does that do? That creates a 10-8 round. That's it. It's a 10-8 round. That's one round, and it was early. It was in the second round. So hypothetically, what if that knockdown was taken away? Would you say Kovalev dominated? Fuck no. You can't say that. You know what I'm saying? So I think people getting gassed up over the knockdown, but you honestly, if you really boil it down, aside from the knockdown, Kovalev had competitive rounds, but he didn't have any rounds where he was just destroying Ward and it was super one-sided. It was a very competitive fight. It's kind of like Sean Porter, Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? Kind of depends on what you like. I thought Thurman won. Some people thought Porter won. I gave it to Thurman personally because I thought he landed the cleaner shots. He with power, but they were cleaner. You know what I mean? But my dude Porter, he was game as fuck. You know what I mean? And it's always going to be subject to interpretation. So I definitely don't think it was a robbery. I've seen robberies in boxing. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. versus Pernell Whitaker. You could even say maybe even the fight with Meldrick Taylor, even though he stopped Taylor. Richard Steele, the referee, had a lot to do with that. There was barely any time, you know what I mean? He wasn't out cold like Pacquiao versus Marquez. So you could even say that was a robbery, or someone was prevented from possibly finishing the fight. Like you look at Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. versus Meldrick Taylor, and then you look at Chavez Jr. versus Sergio Martinez. They were, you know what I mean? Martinez was in a lot of trouble too. What if the referee just stopped it, despite all that good work that Martinez Matavilla had done in those early rounds? I would have been pissed because I was picking Matavilla, you know what I mean? But they let him scrap it out, and he was able to hang on. So you never know. But that's my opinion. I don't think it was a robbery for sure. Close fights like that, I don't think are really a robbery, because I think Kovalev could have done some things stronger in that second half, like I've been saying, and then there would be no issue with him winning. Next question, Motion Alex. How do you rate Loma on pound for pound list if he wins on Saturday? Same goes for Walters. Now, as I said earlier in this video, I personally don't do the pound for pound list. Too many politics, subject to opinion. And it's just like, I mean, no matter what, at this level, like when you build a channel up and have eyes on your channel and reach some level of success where people know you and stuff, I go to fights, people know me and stuff like that. You can't make everyone happy. There's an old Bill Cosby quote before he started raping bitches. I want to talk to you about the pudding. It's so chocolatey with the jello and the pudding. But there's an old Bill Cosby quote. He says, I don't have all the keys to success, but I know the keys to failure, and that's trying to please everybody. On my channel, I don't try to please everybody. I speak from the heart. I'm real, and that's what it is. So I don't do the pound for pound list, but definitely with the pound for pound list, it's all subject. So you'll never be able to appease everybody. Like Mayweather beat Pacquiao. I think that makes him the best fighter of this generation, without a doubt. But Max Kellerman doesn't agree. He says Pacquiao still, with the loss, with only landing 71 punches, he says Pacquiao's still that dude, and he trumps Mayweather because he moved up more. You know what I'm saying? So pound for pound lists are the exact same way. However, the winner of Lomachenko Walters is that dude to me. Very skilled. If Walters beats Lomachenko fair and square, if Loma beats him fair and square, they are definitely up there, and they should be recognized as somewhere in the pound for pound top 10. Because if you put that style, whoever wins, if they win a clear cut, you put that style in different divisions, they're going to be a problem, because that's great competition. So I don't do an actual pound for pound list. I have like a rough list of people to check for and stuff like that, but definitely would add them. I've been a fan of Lomachenko for quite some time before HBO, and also Axeman Walters. Next question, Jeffrey Guy. What up, E? What up? Do you think Floyd Mayweather is coming back? Yes. And if he does, do you think he will face multiple opponents or just be satisfied with possibly coming back, becoming 50-0? Tough telling. My opinion, I mean, obviously he wants to set history with the 50-0, but I think Floyd, he knows that it's a business. So if he comes back for multiple opponents, it's because it's worth it. Showtime or HBO or whoever made him a deal he cannot refuse. So aside from setting the history aspect of it, I think part of it is going to be like, with him, what's in it for me? What can you offer Floyd? So the amount of fights he comes back for, it just depends. He might do 50 and then just, you know what I mean, sign a one-fight deal with Showtime, get the 50th, and then now his 51st fight is going to be worth money. So that's all business stuff. It depends on what they can negotiate and work out. What if Showtime puts up man, we'll give you $2.5 billion for 3 fights. You know what I'm saying? Then he's going to do that. So that's just the business aspect. I do think he'll come back. Believe it or not, I think some of these fighters get bored being retired. You know what I mean? When you boxed your whole life, that's all you know. You can have all the money in the world, but sometimes you miss the training camps, the gym, being around that energy with the other youthful fighters. I also got some interviews from the Lee brothers, Maurice and Devin. Shout out to them. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Like, we were in the Mayweather gym, and they got a fight coming up, fight card December 2nd, I believe, in Las Vegas. I think it's at Sam's Town. And make sure you check out those interviews. But he was talking about sparring with Floyd and just the energy in the gym. It was a real good interview, real personable interview. I sound like Pacquiao and shit. It was a personable interview with the fighter. But yeah, I mean, I think Floyd will come back. It's just the business depends on what he'll come back for or how many fights he'll come back for. Next question is from St. Cruzin. How would you like to see the light heavyweight mix play out? What fights? There's too many. Light heavyweight is popping. I'm looking forward to Shabransky versus who's he fighting? Pascal. That's a good fight, so I want to see that. Joe Smith Jr. if he beats Bernard Hopkins. Hopkins says he's retiring after this fight regardless, but Joe Smith Jr. versus maybe like a Andres Fonfara. Sergey Kovalev, even though he lost, he put up a hell of a showing. I would love to see a grudge match versus him and Artur Beterbiev, or even Adonis Stevenson. Even coming off the loss and not having a belt, that's a fight that the boxing world needs to see. 2 guys with power, let's see it. Then you put Ward in there with really any of those guys. Beterbiev, Kovalev winner, or whatever, a rematch with Kovalev. That's what they might be pushing. So there's a ton of fights that I want to see personally, and those are some of them. So that's what I want to see the most, those fights that I just mentioned. Next question from Mr. Showtime. What did you think of the fight and the decision? I knew the decision was going to have some controversy because it depends on what you like, and it was a competitive, gutsy performance by Ward and Kovalev. They both showed you their mettle. They both showed you what they're capable of, and it's a fight of this magnitude. No one wanted to lose. They're both valiant, and it's just a shame that people are surrounding it with more of the controversy than what happened. 2 in prime undefeated fighters, and we got to see them fight. No question. You know what I mean? There was no big hoopla about making it or pullouts or this and drug test. You know what I mean? There was none of that. It was just a clean-cut fight. The undercard wasn't that great to me, but the main event delivered. So that's what I'm trying to shift my focus to, because I feel like I got to see a historic fight. And that was a great fight for me. So that's what I thought of the fight. I thought it was an excellent fight, and I'm happy I went. That was like the perfect trip. I just enjoyed myself thoroughly. So hopefully we get that rematch. The rematch will be bigger. Both fighters make more money, and it is what it is. Next question, ENVD. Why can't some boxers learn how to cut off the ring? From a casual boxing fan like myself, I don't understand the complexity of it. It seems like a fundamental, not necessarily a master skill trait. I disagree with that second part. It is a master skill trait because it's all dependent on what you've been exposed to, what you've taught. You know what I'm saying? For example, when I was growing up, my parents, we didn't really get Japanese food too much, right? So if we had Asian food, it would be like simple Chinese food, like the chow mein, pork fried rice, and broccoli beef, fried rice, and things like that. You know what I mean? We didn't really go out to Japanese restaurants, for example. You know what I mean? And if we did, it would be like a teriyaki chicken bowl or something like that. So fast forward to the future, I didn't have sushi until I was in my 20s. I never tried sushi until I was 20s. You know what I mean? And that's because of what I was exposed to. My parents didn't go get sushi. You know what I mean? For whatever reason. I don't know if they like it or not. But that was my thing. And then when I tried it, when I'm 20 or whatever, I tried it. I'm like, this shit kind of good. And I love sushi now. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I'm bringing up sushi, some of y'all are like, get to the fucking point, man. Say, man, why you talking about sushi and shit, man? But the reason I'm talking about sushi and relating it to boxing is because it's all dependent on your schooling and your teaching and like your upbringing. If whoever taught you, like look at Mike Tyson. Prime Mike Tyson, Customato, was that dude. He had been in there and like worked with the best, Ali's and all the types of people, right? So he knew how to train people. He knew how to motivate you. That's why you've seen Mike Tyson stretching people earlier in his career. You know what I mean? Bending at the waist, bending the knees, head movement. Finding a way. Customato, there's an interview where he's talking to Tyson, and he's like, the art of boxing, to hit and not be hit, where you can hit them and they can't hit you back. So that being said, that's why Tyson was a beast, because he came from that proper schooling. So it is a master skill trait in terms of cutting off the ring. Golovkin does it exceptionally well. That's in Kazakhstan, they might have got it cracking, or he knew he had power, so maybe that's something he worked on from the early days, the amateurs or whatever. He knew he had power, so how can I make the ring smaller to get this power off and knock these dudes out? So some people can do it. Some people are athletic, and some people have a jab and set it up. It just depends on the schooling. That's the best way I can break it down. And if you don't have the proper schooling, then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I love my favorite fighter, one of my favorite fighters of all time, Roy Jones Jr. Very smart. Roy Jones says, you can recover from a headshot, but you got to go to that body. You ain't going to recover from that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So people like that, he's from the old school. They knew that some of these dudes are tough. You're not getting them out with headshots only. You know what I'm saying? It's just not going to work. So you have to invest in the body. But that's a forgotten trait too. Some people don't dig to the body. Some of these dudes have power. Like, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't really remember Danny Garcia just digging to the body, but he has power and he's great with timing. So I think he could be a phenomenal body puncher. I don't know. I have to maybe watch some tape again, but I don't remember that being his signature shit. Most of his stuff is coming up top. You know what I mean? Hooks up top. I'm not saying he never throws to the body, but I don't remember him being an exceptional body puncher. Canelo is an exceptional body puncher. Golovkin, exceptional body puncher. Guys like Orlando Salido, you know what I mean, body punchers. Nicholas Walters is another really good body puncher. So certain guys do it and certain guys don't. Actually, believe it or not, Adrian Broner, I don't know about recently, but 130, 135 Broner, great body puncher. So it's really just depending on what you're taught. Like, some people don't use a jab enough, but that's like one of the best, most forgotten punches, underused punches. So I think cutting off the ring really is a skill, and some people aren't taught that. They get taught other things, or that, you know what I mean, maybe they like other elements of boxing and like, I want to do this, and they can't figure it out. Next question is from Easy Does It 1980. Hey Ego, I have a hypothetical question. Let's get it. Let's say Jacobs had the exact same exact resume and record as Triple G. Do you think Jacobs would rank at the top of the pound for pound list? No, I don't. And I think it's just kind of like I said earlier with the HBO thing. It's a marketing thing. It's whoever they want to market. So if they don't want to market the Miracle Man in the same way and dump in the same money, then it is what it is. Golovkin, he's a killer, but he looks clean cut. He got that little boy band haircut. Hey, I got my haircut now, number 2 side taper. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for that reason, you know what I mean, they market him. He has an exciting style, and it is what it is. Jacobs, for whatever reason, he hasn't received that same type of love from the fans and marketing. So I think people like HBO, they're kind of going to go with what they feel is going to make them the most money in the marketing department. You know what I mean? It's easier for us to market Lomachenko than it is to market Nicholas Walters. That's what I feel they feel. Next question from Chris Jackson. If Andre Ward fights Kovalev again, what kind of adjustments do you see Ward making to make sure he wins the fight more convincingly? Very good question. Not get knocked down again. I mean, he said that, and he's a perfectionist. I know Dre. So he's a perfectionist. He's going to try to work out those kinks so maybe he doesn't get time. And I talked to Paulie Malignaggi. He said Ward didn't even do anything wrong. It was just Kovalev was on his game, caught him with the counter shot, and while he was in that position, bow, he got sat down. Kovalev has power. So I think he just needs to be more cautious. I don't know if he underestimated Kovalev or his ability and thought it would be easy work, but if that is the case, now that you have the experience with Kovalev and you know he's not for play, and it wasn't just because Bernard Hopkins was 50-year-old that he looked good in that fight. So I think just be more cautious and start earlier. Those are the best things. Don't get knocked down. Start earlier. Be cautious, and maybe some more shots upstairs instead of just body shots, because body shots are real sketch. And it's funny because body shots are like, depending, I always see it from the fans, so many double standards. Canelo wasn't landing much upstairs to Erislandy Lara, but if you're a Canelo fan, then a lot of people say, oh, Canelo won, he was nasty body shots. Ward had nasty body shots, but if you don't like him, then you're not going to give him credit for that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say, oh, he lost the fight. Them body shots don't count. And I really think the body shots are what slowed Kovalev down dramatically. So to answer your question again, paraphrase, no, not get knocked down, start earlier, jab even harder and stiffer, pause, and invest in the body and also go upstairs. Kaiser Soze has another question. If there's a rematch with Ward and Kovalev and Ward wins, who do you see that can even give Ward a problem in the division? I mean, there's a couple people. I haven't seen enough for Shabransky, but I got to do my homework. A lot of people are giving him a lot of praise, but I mean, obviously the Pascal fight is going to show us a lot because that's a worthy opponent. But so I wouldn't say him at the moment, but possibly him. I have to, again, I'm not badmouthing him. I just got to see more from him. But clearly the punchers, Adonis Stevenson, and also, what's his name? Artur Beterbiev. Maybe even Joe Smith Jr. if he impresses versus Bernard Hopkins. I mean, I think Joe Smith Jr. would be, if I had to rank that, I would say he would be the easiest out of the three. But Dre's in a new division, so he has to worry about guys with punching powers who are naturally bigger, maybe have an inch or two in height, maybe have a reach advantage and could crack. And then guys like Adonis Stevenson, whether you love him or hate him, he's athletic and he's left-handed and he throws smoke. So those are the fights, the big punchers, aside from Kovalev, if he beats Kovalev in a rematch, that could give him problem. See, this is what I'm talking about. E. Sands. Does your back hurt from riding Ward's dick? Irony. You're sub just to stay on Ego's dick. Exactly. Y'all, because I don't say what y'all want me to say, and y'all always turn into. So I'm telling you, some of y'all, mark my words, have questionable past because you talk about dicks far too much. Like, period. There are known gay celebrities, and they just do their thing. You know what I'm saying? They just fucking and suck a dude or whatever they do, right? But I never hear them talk about dicks as much as boxing fans. It's really peculiar. Like Elton John. He's a known gay. He had the dangly cross earring, and I never hear him like a candle in the wind. Your dick is on my skin. Oh, I don't hear him talking about dicks. He's just a known person that likes guys. You know what I'm saying? But boxing fans, something's wrong with y'all. Something is not, like Martin said, it's not registering. Some of y'all really have questionable past, like on the down low, or I don't know, maybe you don't tell your girlfriend, but you bring up penises and phalluses far too much. You know what I mean? Hey, I thought Ward won a close fight. Yeah, you sucking that SOG dick. You sucking that Ward. You sucking that town dick. Like, ill. Like, what is wrong with some of y'all? Next question. Jose Garcia. Could you actually see Ward going to heavyweight? It's hit or miss. Ward said he'll do it for the right person. So I think it just has to be that. It has to be his John Ruiz. You know what I mean? So like when they had the Glasgow Charles Martin fight, maybe like somebody like that, maybe. But I mean, I'm bigger than Ward. and I just met Deontay Wilder. He's a little bit bigger than me. Like, it wouldn't even be, those aren't even, that's not even a fair fight. Like Ward versus a super heavyweight, basically like Wilder, Tyson Fury. Those guys are way too big. You know what I mean? Probably even King Kong Ortiz and stuff like that. They hit too hard, too big. So it really has to be like probably like more of a Steve Cunningham type of heavyweight or something like that. Like one of the smaller, you know what I mean, more normal size. Maybe an Amir Mansour, but that motherfucker can crack too. So I don't know. It's possible, but I'd have to see. Right now, he has to maybe clear up the Kovalev drama first. Next question, Mark Montgomery. Hey, Ego, who would you say Adonis Stevenson with his freakishly long arms will give the most trouble as far as styles between Kovalev and Ward? Man, y'all got some good heaters. You got some good questions. I mean, I would say both, to be honest, but maybe a slightly more to Kovalev, just because Kovalev's defense isn't as good and swift. Ward is the naturally smaller guy, you know what I'm saying? So I think he moves better than Kovalev. He has better upper body movement, more defense. So a guy with the straight left like Adonis and the power in that left, especially of Stevenson, Superman Stevenson, is a problem for anybody. You've seen what he did to Chad Dawson, like just stretched him, right? Timber. So I would say he could pose both of them problems, but I would say maybe a little bit more to Kovalev, and that's just because I don't rate Kovalev's defense. But Kovalev, he's tough. He looks like he has a very solid chin. It's just, that's my opinion. Next question is from HHH1200. Does Walters leave top rank like Cotto and Mikey Garcia if the cards are foul in the Loma fight? Fool me twice, Loma and Sosa, not a third time. Possibly. But even beyond that, I did an Ego Purses. Make sure you guys check out that video. He only got, according to the Nevada State Athletic Commission, he only got $300,000 for the Lomachenko fight. Meanwhile, Lomachenko got $1 million, so that would be even bigger on my hit list of being treated righteously. You know what I mean? So he might leave him and go to like a Al Heyman or someone that puts black fighters on a different pedestal sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll give you different opportunities. Like, it's not even just black fighters, but if you're on the Heyman stable, no matter what race you are, you've probably been afforded some level of opportunities to provide yourself. You know what I mean? I've seen Sammy Vasquez on co-main events. I've seen Josito Lopez get a shot at Berto when nobody was really talking about Josito, and I think he had got stopped by Maidana. You know what I'm saying? So he probably will if he feels like there's a lot of politics. Next question, Corey Cush. What up, Ego? What up? Good job with the coverage on the Ward versus Kovalev fight. Thank you. Comment question. Through social media, boxers have the ability to gain a greater audience than the boxer in the past. If you look at Kevin Hart's career, he utilized social media to take it to his career to the next level. Yes, he did. Oh no, he wasn't ready. I don't see this with the new generation of boxers. The reason why Floyd became popular is because he used both social media, the press, and talk shows to promote himself. Very good point. And when he had media days before the fight, he used to put on a show with jump roping, speed bags, the mitts, etc., making the casual fan look at him in awe. None of the fighters today do this, and it prevents them from building up a fan base. I'm very surprised that promoters and managers of these fighters do not try to instill this into their prospects. Conor McGregor capitalized on both being a showman and a great fighter, which in turn promotes the UFC and their brand. Boxing needs the same. Yeah, and that was more of a statement, but I do, that was well written, and I agree with you. There's a lot that fighters can be doing, like, and people, it just depends on what you're content with. Me, I'm never content. Like, since I started this, I've always improved. Like, you know what I mean? And that's not coming from a place of being cocky. That's the truth. When I first started, my mic was a lesser mic. Then I upgraded. You know what I mean? When I first started, I wasn't covering the fights live. Now I can cover the fights live. I go to fights live. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about thriving and advancing and getting better and stuff like that. So maybe the guys are content with these paychecks, but I wouldn't be content. I would keep pushing the envelope and see how much I can get from this game, because boxing is a cruel sport, especially for the fighters. So guys like, even like Danny Garcia, he fought Robert Guerrero in January, and then he didn't fight until like, what was it, this month? against Samuel Vargas. That's a really long time in between for a prime fighter. So they definitely need to follow the Mayweather and now Conor McGregor blueprint where they're self-promoting. I mean, even look at Shannon Briggs. Let's go, champ. Look at him. Look at him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He like forced the game into a title. He forced the game to give him a title shot from shit talking, basically. Look at his hair. Like, nobody was talking about Shannon Briggs. And I've been in the game for a minute, but I've always been a fan. You know what I'm saying? And Shannon Briggs, after he lost to like Lennox Lewis and stuff like that, and Vitali, he wasn't the man right at that point. And some people even talks about that. Some people abandoned him, and he worked his way. And that's why I love Shannon Briggs, because he used the game and made it work to his benefit. It came with a coin tagline, "Let's go, champ." He was doing funny parodies and skits and memes and stuff on his thing. And now he was supposed to get a Lucas Brown title shot. I don't know what's happening because Brown failed a second drug test, but either way, he's supposed to get a title shot off of self-promotion, basically. And he has an app, like some kind of app, Let's Go Champ app and all this stuff. So sounds like he's eating self-promotion, word of mouth, like Ludacris album. Next question from Smoke Des 2. If Ward wins the rematch and then the Triple G fight starts looking like it may actually materialize, do you think Ward takes the fight as a voluntary defense rather than unify with Superman? I know, I'm not going to say who, but I know Ward's team. They want to fight Triple G. And it's not because he's a smaller man. It's because there's a lot of inner turmoil between camps of who said what, and the way Abel moves and handles his fighter, and some of the outlandish things that have been said. So they want the fight just to put it to bed. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he's this, he's all this and that. Let's make the fight. You know what I mean? That's just a competitive streak. So I don't know. I think Triple G, he's a pretty big star. And the Kovalev war fight, they showed him on screen or whatever and said Triple G's in attendance, and the crowd got up for him. So I definitely think he has some star power. So if that fight, that's a bigger fight. That's a huge fight. You know what I mean? Just because of Triple G star power plus Ward and what he's done, that's a big fight. I think he would take that. Next question is from Arturo G. Hey, Ego, do you really believe that Kovalev Ward was a good fight? Absolutely. I felt it was hard to watch with the amount of clinching going on with both sides. Totally disagree with that. Personally, I was there live. I liked it. I was very close. And it was a great, sensational fight. I love fights like that. High-speed chess match, technical ability, both guys trying to impose their will or whatever. They were both trying to win, trust me. There's no doubt about it. I don't care if you like Kovalev, thought he won, if you thought Ward won. They were both trying. The motherfuckers was scrapping. And yeah, there was some clinching, but the more I thought of it, at the time when I watched it live, I was like, what's his name? Robert Bird, the ref. I was like, he's tripping. He was like, he was all the way in the concession stands, and they were just like roughhousing. But he let them. I haven't watched the fight again. I've only seen it the one time live, but I liked it. And now that I thought about it, more I thought about it, is because if he kept intervening every second and didn't let him work out a clinch and fight and roughhouse and stuff, then it might have been the fight you're talking about, where you said it was hard to watch. So I didn't think it was hard to watch. There was some wrestling and like some clinching, but they had one arm free. That's the rules. You're supposed to fight out of that. You know what I'm saying? So, and they were both doing some like little dirty things. Like Kovalev was getting frustrated, so he hit rabbit punch, and then Ward was like, okay, you gonna rabbit punch me? Bow! And then he'll rabbit punch him. So I thought it was perfect. The more I think about it, because it wasn't like, see, the funny thing is questions like yours, I'm not saying just you, but other people, when Kenny Bayless refereed Maidana versus Floyd Mayweather, and he kept intervening and asserting himself into the fight, pause, then people had a problem with that. Like, oh, let them guys work, and Kenny Bayless is saving Mayweather. And then Robert Bird does the exact opposite and lets Ward Kovalev fight no matter what. And he stays like the fuck back, and he's like 10 feet away. Then people have a problem with that and saying it was hard to watch. So, I don't know. Like I said earlier in this, you can't please everyone. Thought it was a great fight. I still think it was a great fight. Next question, Ferg FTW. What's next for Ward? A vacation. I talked to him. He said he's probably going on a cruise. But other than that, I think Kovalev's team wants the rematch, so we'll probably get that in March or April. I know the rematch clause is intact, but I feel Adonis should fight Kovalev. I do too. I mean, that's the fight that was supposed to. I mean, that's crazy. If you people shitting on Ward, but you really think about it, this motherfucker came from 168, where there were some new players emerging, guys like James DeGale, Badou Jack, and a couple other people at 68, Gilberto Ramirez. He could have stayed and milked that, and I know for a fact he could have made 168. It might have been a little bit more of a chore, but he could still make it. I talked to people on his team. Anyway, and we got to see him fight Kovalev before the person who was a champion, maybe even before, I don't remember, but maybe even before Kovalev was a champion at light heavyweight. Ain't that a bitch? Like, and people are mad at Ward, but he at least had the gall and the stones to move up and fight a light heavyweight champion. Meanwhile, we couldn't get a unification between two existing light heavyweight champions. After that, the winner should get Ward. I'm okay with that. If Kovalev and Adonis fight, Kovalev better Biev fight, Shabransky. I mean, these are all good fights. I know it won't happen, but it's a thought. Laugh out loud. Next question is from Boogie Money. Will body shots ever matter? LOL. Ward Kovalev. Hashtag body shots matter. Yeah, I mean, people, again, that's why I think the pound for pound list, judging, all that's subjective, because it's depending on what you like. Ward was raking the shit out of Kovalev's body in the second half of the fight, and people will act like that didn't count. You know what I mean? Oh, it's a knockdown. But again, when Canelo fought Erislandy Lara, he wasn't really having success with many headshots. He was doing his best work throwing punches to the body, and people gave him the fight. So really, it just depends on what you like, and most people already have a built-in prejudice or bias towards what style they like, and if it's even remotely close, they're going to rock with the person that they wanted to rock with and wanted to win. Next question, Jose Cedillo. Ego, what got you interested in boxing? My father and my brother. When I was just young, they just had me on classics. And then besides them two, I would say just some of the early legends. Muhammad Ali. I mean, I just remember I'm like seeing all these posters and stuff. I'm like, who is this guy? And then I started doing research, and that's how I am. I want to know more about him. Like, so I was like, man, the Viet Congs never called me a nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I started researching Muhammad Ali, and then that led into Sugar Ray Leonard, and I'm like, oh damn, this is crazy. My dad had recorded the Mickey Ward Arturo Gatti. That was a classic fight. Prince Nassim, Roy Jones. I used to love watching them. Showmen, they knew how to sell a fight. Prince Nassim had the crazy ring walk, ring entrances. So those are all, it's not one thing, but those are all early recollections of why I got into boxing. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson was my favorite. Punch Out was an awesome video game. I'm about to get that new Nintendo too, the smaller version of the classic Nintendo NES. Let me know if that's out, if any of y'all know, but I definitely want to get one of those. Next question, Crown Royal. What's next for Andre Ward? And do you think Triple G will ever come up to fight? I kind of answered that question. What's next? Vacation, and then also Ward, probably Kovalev next, a rematch. And I don't think Triple G wants to fight with Ward. I think they're content just saying stuff in the media. Like, it's funny, Abel Sanchez said that Crusher was going to knock out Ward, and then after, he seemed more reasonable. It's funny how these trainers and people do that. Like, Freddie Rose, like, oh yeah, I'm going to bet my house that Cotto's going to knock Canelo out. And then after, it's like more real. Canelo's a good fighter. Like, that's not what you were saying beforehand. You said Kovalev was going to, and people were mad at me for my 7 reasons. I picked Ward via unanimous decision, which was 100% right, whether you like it or not. And then people like Abel Sanchez, they were saying that Kovalev was going to knock him out, and all he got was 1 knockdown and was never able to duplicate that again through 12 rounds or 11 more rounds. You know what I'm saying? So whose predictions are more accurate? Next question, Cody8804. Do you think if Kovalev dominates or knocks out Ward in the rematch, a trilogy is justified? Justified? Absolutely. If he knocks out Ward, then they're split 1-1. So yeah, it's absolute. If he knocks him out, absolutely justified. Next question, Aluna Boxing 7. What up, Ego? First of all, thanks for sharing one of my memes on Instagram. Not sure which one it was, but maybe you'll leave me a comment and let me know which one. But shout out to that. Appreciate it. After Kovalev versus Ward, why do all these casuals all of a sudden think Triple G can beat Ward? Because most people don't know shit about boxing. They fight nothing alike, and the only similarities they have is KO power. Exactly. Most people don't know shit about boxing. Can you break down their differences? Keep up the good work. P.S. to all the casuals, Kovalev Ward was a close fight, not a robbery. Learn the sport and learn how to score a damn fight. Great. You said it, so I don't have to say it. Kovalev, he has long arms. He has a very good jab. Golovkin's jab was good versus David Lemieux. But David Lemieux ain't no goddamn Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? So we've seen Bernard Hopkins, a crafty veteran fighter, Andre Ward, and Kovalev's best attributes showed up in those fights. We have not seen that with Golovkin because he hasn't fought. Put it this way. Name, this is like Family Feud, 100 people surveyed. Name a person Gennady Golovkin has faced as a pro that you would rank in the same echelon of skill as Bernard Hopkins or Andre Ward. You guys let me know that, and you won't find anyone. You're going to say David Lemieux's on the same skill set as even a 51-year-old Bernard Hopkins or Andre Ward, who's still undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Adama. Who are you going to say? Ishida. So, yeah, there's two different fights. Kovalev is Kovalev, and I don't care what happened in sparring 4 years ago. If, you know what I mean, they're saying that Triple G knocked him out or hurt him to the body. I don't know. I don't care. I don't know if Kovalev was a champion at that time. I don't know if he was taking Golovkin serious. It might have been his first time sparring in 6 months. He might have been out of shape. He may have just ate Taco Bell. I don't know. So since I don't know those details and there's no video proof, I don't really care about that stuff. All I know is Kovalev is a monster right now. And he was able to be in a all-out fight of the year type fight with Ward, which was a high-level Olympic gold medalist. So different styles make fights. Plus, Kovalev has certain power at 175. Look at his KO percentage. Golovkin, I don't know what his power will be at above 160 because I haven't seen him fight nobody at over 160 as a pro without headgear and the same size gloves and stuff. Two different things. You know what I mean? And like, if Golovkin he's knocking people out bad, or not even, I don't even think he's knocking them out that, like, I don't think, this is my opinion, I don't think he has Julian Jackson power or even a Deontay Wilder. When I seen Wilder, I seen people more than once convulsing on the ground. Right? It looked like they were dead. Spilka. Wilder said it himself. He's like, Spilka, I thought I killed him. I thought I killed Spilka. You know what I'm saying? And I'm laughing, but obviously Spilka's good now. But I never seen Triple G really stretch someone like that except for Ishida, who was a 54-pounder at the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's different fights. You know what I mean? I don't know, jumping up 15 pounds, I don't know where Golovkin's power would be. I would assume people can handle his power a little bit better. You know what I mean? Maybe not. But again, I have to see that. Next question, Greg Sanders. What will a loss to Walters do to Lomachenko's career? Because this will be 2 losses in less than 10 fights. It wouldn't be good, but at the same time, you got to give credit to Lomachenko for daring to be great in his own division. You know what I mean? Or moving up one division and taking on stiff challenges in under 10 fights. But I know boxing fans, it's not like the UFC fans where you can have 8-9 losses. So it wouldn't look good. But maybe there'd be some people out there that just salute him for taking on tough fights. But a loss, like bad losses, especially in a short period of time, would not be good. Next question, Lineside Hunter. Ego. I've watched the fight 3 times, replayed the fast moments, and near missed over and over again, trying to score it as best as possible. I just don't see how anyone could not agree that Ward controlled this fight. What do you think people saw that convinces them that Kovalev won? Hate, bias, racism, probably. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that if you pick Kovalev, you're a racist if you thought he won. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is some people, I do know that they have an agenda. They don't like Ward. Like, look at this. I know people at main events. Every opportunity that was realistic and feasible to go see Kovalev, they said, hey, Kovalev's having a round table in the Oracle. You want to come? Sign me up. That's why the video's on my channel. Then there was one in LA, and I happened to be in LA, right? Because it was for another fight. And I said, yeah, I'll be there. So I went there. That's why I got that footage. Ringside after the Brand fight, I was interviewing Kovalev. Same thing with Ward. I've been to all of his fights since Paul Smith on, right? there is no bias. Like I like Kovalev. I fuck with him. He's a killer. You know what I'm saying? But some of these other people can't say the same thing. They haven't been to Ward's last 3 or 4 fights. Okay, if you didn't want to go to Alexander Brand, cool. You know what I mean? That wasn't a big event. But why didn't you go to Sullivan Barrera? You know what I mean? That was a good fight. First fight at light heavyweight. Things like that. So, I don't know. I think second half Ward did his thing. And that's really what it is. And I'm done talking about it. Next question, Air Horden. I like that name. I know that you were at the fight and it may have been harder for you to see compared to us at home, but how understated was the body work of Ward? People said that Kovalev had a conditioning problem, but I personally think it was all them body shots. Clearly it was. That's what I said earlier in this video. Lastly, if you've seen the HBO pay-per-view yet, I haven't, unfortunately. What was up with the bullshit Letterman was spewing all night? Keep it up, Ego. Appreciate your work. I haven't seen the telecast. I don't know, and I don't really care what HBO was saying because I can make up my own mind without anybody else. Letterman, I mean, it's like at first they were wearing a mask, like they were content, like kind of hiding it. Now it's just outright who they like and who they don't like, and who they're rooting for, and what styles they're rooting for, and which ones they're not. Period. You know what I mean? Like people saying, "Oh, Ward Kovalev was a fucking robbery. Worst robbery." But then Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Carlos Cuadras, very similar fight. But I thought, see, this is the big difference. Let me get in that ass real quick. Pause. Roman Gonzalez versus Carlos Cuadras, he moved up to fight a champion. He moved up 3 pounds, though. That was 3 pounds. Ward moved up to fight Kovalev. He had 2 tune-up fights, but he fought a champion, and he moved up more than 3 pounds. The big difference between those 2 fights is this. Gonzalez, Chocolatito, he started strong. And towards the end of the fight, his eyes were swollen. He looked like a Teletubby or something. You know what I mean? He was like his fortune cookie eyes. His eyes looked like Berto versus Guerrero. They didn't look good. And he faded drastically, and Carlos Cuadras started to like piece him up. Ward got knocked down in the second round and got better as the fight progressed. Got better. Better be it. He got better. You know what I'm saying? That's the big difference. You know what I mean? And look at how those 2 fights were called. And you guys, if you have it or go to YouTube, check it out. Listen to how they called it. Oh, there was the same people that are now saying that Kovalev was robbed and Ward sucks and he should not be undefeated. A lot of those same people did not say this in another close fight with Chocolatito. And whose fight? People were like, oh, look at Ward's face at the end of the fight, man. Look at Ward's face. Right? But look at Chocolatito's face. Chocolatito's face looked way worse than Ward's because his eyes were both shut. Paulie Malignaggi said it on my interview. He said, I'm sorry, you can't be pound for pound with both your eyes shut. You both your eyes shut. You know, Paulie be talking fast. So where was the like outrage then when Chocolatito damn near couldn't see from moving up 3 pounds? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of double standards, a lot of politics. It was a close fight. I maintain that. I enjoyed it. The body shots did slow Kovalev down, and I think that's what happened in the second half. Why Ward was able to pull away a very close competitive fight. Period. Easy. Savage Life. Hi. Hello. Y'all funny. And the final question is from Eatman888 at Boxingego. Would it be safe to say after Kovalev Ward bout that Triple G versus Ward will never happen, ever happen? I don't think it will. Because, I mean, Kovalev was the killer at 175 and didn't get knocked out. Ward didn't get knocked out. So, Triple G being the guy who would be doing the moving up, I don't think the team would want that fight. That's just me personally. Do you find it funny when certain fighters like the Floyd, Wards, etc. have their legacy fights and win, but are still more scrutinized than the fighter who has ducked his legacy fight? 100% satisfaction never guaranteed for these haters. You already know what it is. You know how the game goes. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny to see the double standards and what people say before and after. Before, I distinctly remember certain usernames, certain people, certain writers, they were saying things like, Ward has no fan base. He can't sell out his mother's living room in Oakland. Nobody cares about Ward. He doesn't understand the game. He doesn't get it. He sucks. He hasn't done nothing since Super 6. He's an inactive chump, and he's Andre bored. Nobody cares. He can't sell out. Triple G does better ticket sales, right? They're saying all of this after Kovalev wins, and all the scorecards, mind you, were close. 114 to 113 and stuff. So they indicated what we seen, a close fight. Now the people switched up. They went from saying Ward has no fan base and he can't sell out. He can only sell out in Oakland. He doesn't fight in Oakland, fights in Las Vegas, and they say it was a pro Ward crowd. Everybody was for the system. Everybody wants Ward to win. Wait. You didn't want Ward to win. You know what I mean? How does everyone want Ward to win? You know what I mean? I thought Ward couldn't sell out, but now everyone's saying that Andre Ward is this like superstar box office that everyone was hoping for. I never understood it. Same thing with Floyd Mayweather. People always cry and complain about how they hate Floyd. He ruined boxing. He's bad for the sport. So in the fights with Maidana that were somewhat close or whatever, why do you think they're going to give it to Floyd Mayweather or Cotto? You know what I mean? Those types of fights. Why would they give it to Floyd when they don't want him to win? When they hate him? You know what I'm saying? Tough titty. You guys got to just suck it up. Take the L's like Cool J, and that's it. Let me know how you guys think I did this week. I will be back next week. Try to get back on track with the Monday mail days. Thank you guys all for the support, for your subscriptions, all that. A lot coming. Let me know what fights you're looking forward to. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.